Now, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I forgot the source, and it could be completely unreliable, but it's just an interesting idea and question. Would you ever consider trading Kuzma prior to the trade deadline? We talked about how he has some struggles with the Lakers, and I think personally he's at the point in his career where he's still trying to get his, and he might not buy into being like a third or fourth or fifth fiddle, whatever the case may be, coming off the bench, just playing his role. He wants to put up numbers, which I understand. You know what I mean? Like, when you first start your career, we saw this with Kobe. It wasn't good enough. He had to be the alpha dog. I think Kuzma has a little bit of that in him, where he's trying to establish himself as like a potential all-star player in this league. Would you consider trading him?
Yes, I would absolutely consider trading him. I think the problem is his trade value is probably at an all-time low at this moment. So that will limit the options that the Lakers have.
Let me be more specific. Would you trade him for Iguodala if that was on the table? Because Iggy, he hasn't played with Memphis. Memphis is a young team. They're trying to build something. They got Ja who's killing it.
That's tough.
You know what I mean? He's obviously probably...
Iguodala's 35, brother.
Yeah, I know. But if we're going all in...
That hasn't played basketball on an NBA floor in how many months?
Also, he's a finals MVP. Let's not forget, he could contribute more to, I think, this playoff run than Kuzma can.
Yeah, I feel you. That's definitely something that the Lakers would have to look at if they're trying to go all in for this season, which I think they should, because next year LeBron's going to be another year older. And as we're seeing with Tom Brady, like we talked about before the podcast, at some point, Father Time is going to come a-knocking. We don't know when that is.
Yep, that's
but
true.
My man Father Time is undefeated. And that's going to happen. So every year that we don't win the championship, it's rolling the dice on whether LeBron can continue his historic and unprecedented run as, being the best player in the league in year 17, potentially 18. Who knows, right? Yep. So if they're trying to go all in on this season, that might be worth pulling the trigger on.
But also what I'm concerned about is I don't want to have a situation like we had last year where we had trade rumors floating around that affected the team chemistry.
Well, in this case, I don't think it's going to be as detrimental as the rumors were last year, because it involved the entire core.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair enough.
Literally everyone was on the block, minus LeBron. This year, it's there might be one or two players that have their names floating around. It's really going to boil down to Kuzma. He, by far, is the best trading chip that we have. And again, unfortunately, his value at this time is at an all-time low.
But what does Memphis have to lose?
No, yeah, definitely. Like, if I'm Memphis, I do that in a second. Absolutely. Right. The upside on Kuzma.
That's why I believe it's a win-win for both teams at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to give up on Kuzma because I think he does have that talent, and we were gung-ho about keeping at least one of the good young core players that we had in the Anthony Davis trade. We kept Kuzma, in my belief, so we can be flexible to pursue a third max free agent during the offseason, which we thought would be Kawhi. But, it hasn't panned out as planned to start the season. I don't want to give up on the guy because I think he still can bounce back from his kind of slow start. He's battled some injuries, which you've kind of pointed out in the past, and he hasn't had the opportunities that, say, Ingram has. Right.
So ultimately, to answer your question, it's definitely something that I consider. And personally, this is kind of funny, but I would defer to LeBron. I'd be like, yo, Bron, what do you think? Should we do this? And I would go with Bron's plan. Bron's plan. I'll just defer to him. I'll be like, Bron, Le GM, what do you think? Should we do this? If he thinks that it'll put us over the top, I respect his basketball genius enough to know that if he thinks Iguodala is going to be the X factor for a playoff run, I say we pull that trigger. Even though it's short-sighted and Kuzma could go on to be a star, I still think he has star potential in this league. I really do. I know a lot of people are kind of off the Kuzma bandwagon and saying that Ingram is far and away the better player and has the higher ceiling. But I still think Kuzma has the opportunity to be a great player in this league, and so it's definitely a risk. But if it puts us, ultimately, I think if it puts us in a better position to win a championship this year, you have to do it because we have to maximize these LeBron years.
Agreed.
We have to put all our chips in the table to at least squeeze out one championship during this LeBron year or this LeBron contract.
And I'm not saying it's a straight up trade, Iggy, for Kuz, because I don't think the contracts will match up. So there has to be some other component to that trade to make it work. Maybe we can get some other value, maybe a draft pick or whatever in return.
Yeah.
To kind of maybe play to the future more. Yeah. So then kind of going all in 100% type of thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if, that's a good point though. We need to have an idea of what Kuz's trade value is to kind of gauge what we could even get for him before we affect team chemistry by having all these trade rumors floating around.
Right. But having said that, if that swap were to occur, I think Iguodala would fit like a glove on this roster.
I agree.
I think he would just add to the chemistry.
I agree.
So
talk about a player that knows his role.
Exactly.
Who's been a former All-Star. He's not looking for more personal accolades. He's looking to probably win more championships. He knows how to do that. He has the experience. He's come up big. Keep in mind, he was guarding LeBron James for most of those finals.
That's how he won his finals MVP, by slowing down LeBron.
Exactly.
To the best of his ability.
He did what Kawhi did in 2014 to win his MVP. All you have to do is guard LeBron, apparently, to win an NBA Finals MVP. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, you can throw him off his game even 5%. That's saying something.